But hold on, if you didn't think it was bad enough, it gets worse. Hunter Yurachek was asked why they bumped Alabama ahead of Notre Dame, and here's what he said. I am a Bama fan, and I am telling you, this is terrible logic, and it's just stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great Wednesday. Hope all of you having a great week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, we got to talk about this committee. Last night, I cannot believe, number one, what they did, but more importantly, number two, what they said. If you've been keeping up with the videos, you would already know we've been covering 3 to 4 topics in every single video because there's been that much chaos going on in college football. However, this topic is so important, is the one and only thing we're talking about. Trust me, there's plenty of other stuff we need to get to. We still haven't even got to the Alabama-Georgia preview, Ohio State-Indiana preview. What's going on at Penn State? We got a new update on them, and the list goes on and on and on. Heck, there's some more news coming out about Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. But for now, at least, we are going to lock in, hone in, and zone in on this one subject at hand. But real quick, let me throw this in there. So for those of you who don't know, everyone's been asking, Matt, start the community tab, start the community tab. Well, we finally did it this morning. It's been balls to the wall in the MBG sweatshop. I haven't even had time to look at it since I set it up, but I just glanced at it. Can somebody explain to me why this is the first thing I saw in the community feed? What is this? What am I looking at? And who posted this? TKJC. Why did you post this? Why is it funnier the more I look at it? You know, starting this community tab was a bad idea, wasn't it? There's no going back at this point. It's Pandora's box. Once you open it, you can't shut it. The funny thing is I haven't even had time to actually go through it and see if people are talking about football or whatnot. This just popped up on my screen when I clicked on it. Moving along here, let's get into the CFP committee. They released their rankings last night like they do every single Tuesday night. And like we do every single Tuesday night on the channel, I give you my live reaction. We had a good time. I'm sure some of you may have or may not have seen that video we posted yesterday. Feel free to check it out for yourself if you haven't already. The one thing I was very adamant on in that video is we talked about, before the rankings came out, how there was some speculation going on and rumors saying, oh, well, Notre Dame, they may fall behind Alabama. And I said, yeah, that's not going to happen. It doesn't even make sense. How could you watch Alabama struggle? Granted, it's rival week, I get it, but they struggle with one of the worst teams in the SEC. They struggle with the Auburn Tigers, barely won the game due to Auburn fumbling the ball, dropping passes left and right. Meanwhile, Notre Dame crushed. I know they stink, but they crushed Stanford. They took care of business. How can you watch 2 of those things transpire on Saturday and go, you know what? That's enough for us to move Alabama ahead of Notre Dame? It doesn't make sense to me. Let's throw in this little disclaimer. I'm an Alabama fan telling you that, so there's no bias going on here. Fast forward in time a little bit, the rankings come out, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Alabama's going to be 10, Notre Dame's going to be 9, and to my shock, I may throw in a video clip so you guys can watch in this video as well. Alabama jumped Notre Dame. They were ranked at 9, and Notre Dame fell down to number 10. A lot of people saying Alabama's going to jump Notre Dame. I don't understand where you're getting that logic from, and it's not going to happen. I'm saying it before it happens. What do you mean it's Alabama at 10? People think, I don't know why people are saying Notre Dame.
And there is. Notre Dame is now the team sitting right on the bubble down.
I am still appalled by that. I am still mind-boggled, but there's one sentence that can sum all this up, and it's how I feel about it. I don't understand how the committee jumped Alabama over Notre Dame. I want to clarify, and it is why I'm making this video. It's the main reason, because I tweeted about it, and I still see people in all the comments, they don't understand what I'm trying to say. Let me make this clear. As a Bama fan, I am thrilled about this. I am happy that Alabama is now a dang near lock to make the college football playoff, and I'm one of those who believes even if they lose by $4 billion to Georgia, they're still getting in. With that being said, I also understand the argument that every single one of you that thinks Alabama should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame has. I get that. Alabama has I'm talking about a much better resume than Notre Dame. I've been saying that since day one. I get it. Because there's so many people on Twitter trying to explain to me, like I don't know, and I don't take it as disrespect, it's just people, I guess, trying to inform me. Well, Matt, here's why Alabama's ahead of Notre Dame, because of strength of record. Dude, I know that. Here's what I don't understand. Alabama's resume didn't really get too much better after one game against a terrible team in the SEC. On the flip side of it, it's not like Notre Dame's resume got any worse. They just won by 30 or 40 against Stanford. Let me dumb this down even more. I don't understand how you can tell me heading into this most recent weekend that Notre Dame is better than Alabama. That's what the committee's saying by having them at 9 and having Bama at 10. Notre Dame's better. They pass the eye test, resume, whatever you want to throw in there. You then watch Alabama struggle with Auburn and Notre Dame take care of business and go, nah, you know what? We're going to jump Alabama ahead of Notre Dame. That just doesn't make any sense to me. None at all. And there's no way it can make any sense to you guys. No way. You can't even try to tell me, well, Matt, it's a resume thing. No, dude. They had Bama behind Notre Dame last week. And Alabama's resume from last week to this week didn't get any better. But hold on, if you didn't think it was bad enough, it gets worse. Hunter Yurachek was asked why they bumped Alabama ahead of Notre Dame. And here's what he said. This is paraphrasing, by the way, but it was identical to this. Alabama's great and gutsy fourth down call to take the lead against 5-7 Auburn is what gave them the edge over Notre Dame. He didn't even bring up Alabama's running game. He said because Alabama converted a 4th and 2 late in the fourth quarter and they forced a fumble at the end of the game, that was enough to change the mind of some of the committee members. I'm throwing this disclaimer in there again. I am a Bama fan, and I am telling you this is terrible logic. And it's just stupid. I pray and I hope there's more to it than just that. Maybe he was summarizing. If Hunter Yurachek would have got there and said, well, Alabama controlled the game. It was never in doubt. They dominated Auburn from start to finish. That would make a little bit more sense, right? I'm not saying Alabama dominated Auburn. I'm just saying you're talking about the whole game at that point. But to point to, well, yeah, they did get a 4th and 2 and they forced that fumble, so that's enough for us. So because of 2 plays, that's why Alabama's jumping Notre Dame? It's head scratching for me, man. Some of the things they do and the logic. There's just no logic. I don't even know why I'm bringing that word up. Here's where I'm going at with this. I think this is a much better argument for Alabama jumping Notre Dame because I'm not mad at it. You could have stated something like this. Well, Alabama, they ran the ball well against Auburn. They had over 150 rushing yards, one of their best running performances the entire season. They also almost shut down Auburn in the first half, held them to 6 points. You see, that sounds way better, at least in my humble opinion, because as a viewer, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, that is a good point. The defense has been good in the running game. It's coming alive. But no, instead of that, you point to, they did get that 4th and 2. Like, come on, man. And the fumble, I mean, yeah, give credit to Bray Hubbard and Alabama's defense for forcing it. But you know how fumbles work, right? The other team, they have to make a mistake. They lost the ball. You know what was happening before that fumble? Auburn was driving down the field. They fumbled at, what was it, the 25 or 30-yard line? I can't harp on this and emphasize it enough. I'm not mad at it. I love it, and I'm glad Alabama is ahead of Notre Dame. Their reasoning for stuff, though, it doesn't make sense, and they got to get better at explaining it. You can't be the head of the committee pointing to, well, fumble is why we boosted Alabama or any team over another team. No. You got to point to at least multiple quarters and just how the game went. Let me address this too. Yurachek also stated that idle teams can move up or down and all teams will be re-ranked following the weekend's championship games. What? What do you mean idle teams can move up or down? What are you talking about? Is he insinuating? Because I'm confused. I don't know if he means like, for example, since Notre Dame and Miami aren't playing this week, we can flip-flop them if we want to. But to me, that doesn't make too much sense because they're not playing. What can you point to? Everything they've done up until this point should be set in stone, right? You know what this is looking like to me? They're setting all this up. They jumped Alabama ahead of Notre Dame, so when Alabama, or if, not when, but if Alabama loses to Georgia, they have an argument for keeping Alabama in the playoffs still. BYU's ranked 11th. Texas Tech is supposed to beat them. So, for say this video, we'll say if or when Texas Tech beats BYU, guess what happens? Who's going to be right beside each other? Miami and Notre Dame. And you know what they're going to do? You know. Since they are close enough to compare, they're going to use the head-to-head argument and they're going to drop Notre Dame out of the playoffs. That is my way too early prediction on all this. By dropping Notre Dame behind Alabama, they are setting all this up. They know what they're doing. They're not dumb. They are smart. They were looking a week ahead when making this current ranking. I'm not going to get into this whole Miami and Notre Dame thing. That's a different video for a different day, but I do want to address how dumb the committee looked and sounded last night. Many more things I can say. Let me know your thoughts down below. But